if you talk about the power distribution and the disruption that is going to happen in the next 10 years, it is definitely going to be a superpower for India to be, one of the biggest electricity generator of the world. Our geography is, such that we have the required amount of sunlight, we have required amount of rivers to, generate hydropower. Sunlight ke liye we have good sunlight to generate good amounts of solar power, and definitely we have been a very big giant in terms of coal. So all those things add, and if you see the market cap, so right now it is around 1 lakh crores, and by 2030 the prediction is that will reach out 2 lakh crores, and by 2032 it will reach 3 lakh crores. So that is the level of uh, the growth that this country is going to see in terms of the whole power ecosystem. So, and we have the required amount of approvals, we have the required amount of plant and machinery, we have good relation with the customers who are going to use that electricity. So definitely all those factors add up to one thing only, that Prime Cable is going to sustain and do good business in the future.
Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday Investing. This is the 10th episode of our Know Your Promoter series, where we invite promoters and try to understand their business, their plans, and the vision behind the IPO. Today we have with us Mr. Naman and Nikunj Singla from Prime Cables, the IPO for which opens from the 22nd to the 24th of September. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'd love to start, just with your own backgrounds, how you guys, started this company, how you got into this industry, what inspired you to get into this industry.
Right. So, Nirutik, hi Tanmay. So, the company was started by our father, and we are the second generation entrepreneurs in this business. So, I am Nikunj Singla, and I did my graduation from Delhi University in BCom honors, and then I went to SPG in Bombay for my MBA. And since then, I have been a part of the company only. So, बनियों के घर में यही सिखाया जाता है that you have to focus on the business if a family has a family business. So definitely we had this long vision to start our entrepreneurial journey as soon as possible. And fortunately that our father had such a strong foothold in the power industry, and so we looked up to it, and gradually we joined it. So I joined the company back in 2017.
Superb. And
I'm Naman, Nikhil's brother. Again, second generation entrepreneur. I also did my graduation from Delhi University, and while graduating only, the part time of my day schedule was in office or factory. So that's how we joined the business. It's more than a decade since we both have been part of it. But the vision of starting this business came to our father. So back in 1991, when there was economic liberalization, so where the infrastructure boom was happening and all the telecom boom was happening, the demand for cables were very high. So my father saw the gap that demand is high, the manufacturers are less. So he got into the manufacturing of cables via some relative who had a factory, and he started his career as a production manager there. He did that for a couple of years before gaining the knowledge and everything. So in 1997, he started with his own firm, a sole proprietorship firm by the name of Private Cable Industries, with a factory on rent in a small industrial area called Libasco Industrial Area, Delhi, which is no longer a industrial area now, but the Delhi में this rule of like people have gone outskirts of Delhi now. So back then the wholesale and retailers used to have a command of the market, and they were the ones who were giving the orders to the manufacturers, and because the clients used to reach out to these wholesalers and distributors only, because there was no social media, no internet, so everyone used to go physically and purchase cables. So these wholesalers used to give order and job work to our father to make some cables, and we were left with very less margins because they used to command the market, so we used to enjoy the market. And my father did that for a couple of years ago, like 3 4 years. He expanded this base of wholesalers from North India to South India also. One day he realized that this is a very tough job, and there's no motivation as that because the margins are very less. Then in 2002, he started with his own brand called Brian Cap and got it registered under various PSUs. And he also started bidding for small tenders where he used to get these trial orders from the direct PSUs. And from then on, this journey of B2B and V2G segment began. And currently, we see as our presence across major utilities in powers.
Superb. I mean, it's very, it's getting, obviously it's a common thing in SMEs for the next generation to take over. But I think we're seeing that more and more. We see a lot of well-educated, highly professional second generation coming in and sort of fulfilling their earlier family, their parents, grandparents' vision. It's great to see. Maybe is a good segue to just talk a little bit more on exactly what Prime Cables does. What kind of products do you guys serve? What segments you serve? What kind of clients you have? Just help throw a little bit more light on just the foundations of this business.
So I'll just brief you around why and what these cables are used for and what we manufacture exactly. So we are into manufacturing of all types of LT cables. So these LT cables are, the veins and the arteries of the whole power distribution ecosystem. So supposedly, for a layman to understand what are these cables used for and how are they different from the cables we know around in the market की सबको generally पता होता है polycap का वो bundle के around people know consider that as cables and wires, but the market we operate in, the ecosystem we operate in is totally different. So supposedly there is a generation plant set up in Rajasthan Pokhran, for example. I'm just giving an example. So if it is set up to generate electricity, but the consumer who will use that electricity could be sitting somewhere in a Bombay office में कहीं. To transfer and transmit that electricity from Pokhran to Bombay, definitely it is a whole journey for that electricity to pass through. So that journey is done through these high tension, low tension, and medium voltage cables. So there are different types of cables that are used for that. And 60% of this ecosystem is operating around the low tension cables as of now. And that is where the prime cable industries is present. So we manufacture each and every type of LT cable. These are power cables, control cables, instrumentation cables, conductors, eagle bunch cables. So if I go product by product, then control cables is something which is used in the substations. So substations की पूरी controlling and automation is done by the control cables. So power cables is used in the generation and the transmission sector of the ecosystem underground. So these are the backbones of the generation and the transmission industries. And then you have the instrumentation cables which are used for transmitting signals for radios, TVs, etc. And we have the aerial bunch cables which are used in the distribution of power. You might have seen somewhere around your households also the spiral binded cables. So these are the cables which are used to distribute electricity from the generation substation to the consumer finally. And then we have the conductors also which are used pole to pole to distribute electricity. So this is a whole ecosystem where prime cable is present. It is divided into three: generation, where the electricity is generated. Then the electricity is brought to a transmission through a transmission line to a substation, and it is hold at a substation in huge kilowatts, and that those substations are pretty huge. So the whole controlling of that substations are done by cables, and that is also with what we manufacture. Then we have the distribution network to finally transmit this electricity to the consumer, and for those also these are different type of cables are used. So that also we manufacture. So that is the whole ecosystem we are present in, and these are the products we are manufacturing.
I think very, very well explained. I think we're seeing a lot of companies in this segment that are actually going public in this time. And there'll obviously be some doubts on, how one is different from the other. I'll just ask a couple of questions. One is, you mentioned you are in LT cables. and not in HT cables or these MV cables? Is there a different complexity to those? Others use differently, or is that something that you guys also intend to get into very early? I'll ask this question and then I'll ask the next question later.
So, yeah, medium voltage cables are something we're planning to get into. And the whole purpose of this, IPO is to enter the medium voltage market. So that is the big step what Prime Cable is planning to take. With the IPO proceeds, we are planning to do a capex. We're setting up a new unit near the existing kilowatt unit only. So that unit will extensively be manufacturing the medium voltage cables. So yes, these LT cables, machinery and capex that we currently have, uh, cannot manufacture the medium voltage cables. So yes, we have to, do a separate capex for that because the machinery is totally different to manufacture the medium voltage cables. The setup is almost, the significance is same, but the machinery's technology is a little different on a higher end. So that is the next goal to, enter the medium voltage market.
Understood. The capacity that you have, can you just help our listeners understand what is the current capacity you have with for the LT cables? What is your utilization, and what do you intend to take the new capacity to with the new capex?
So currently, our capacity is 34,000 kilometers annually for wires and cables combined for both the units. So we have two units, one in Delhi and one in Rajasthan. So combined capacity 34,000 kilometers per annum. The average utilization of both the plants as on 31st March 2025, because this is the number as per the RHP. uh, So the utilization was 44% average utilization. But we want to scale this balance capacity in the coming years, and the capacity enhancement that has been done, as Nikunj already said, it is done majorly for medium voltage shift. So that will certainly add to the existing capacity. So at 44% utilization, we are doing 141 crore. So with the balance utilization, can probably see what we can do with the existing capex working, and with the coming capex from the IPO proceeds, it will always add to the capacity.
Understood. Understood. Makes sense. And this is something that will come live in the next financial year or end of this year. What is the timeline?
The utilization,
No, the new capacity that is coming.
the unit capacity. So we'll be trying to do it as quickly as possible. So me and Nikun personally have a target to make it like in the Q1 of next year, next financial year.
Got it. Got it. So one general question that people have is in the LT segment, especially, which is where you guys are playing. There are a lot of players. There's a lot of unorganized players also. So how do you differentiate? As a say a top provider in this segment, how do you differentiate from everyone else? Is there something in the capability? Is it in the relationships? Is it in the approvals or certifications? Like, how should an investor understand how you are different from everyone else that's there in the market?
So we have tried to make this justifiably investor presentation across what we have done so far. So there is five, six major differentiators. First is our long-standing relationship with the customers. So whatever customers our father added decades back are still there, uh, procuring cables from us. This can be seen from the repeat customer ratio, where we repeat business that we're getting from these customers. So in FY 22, this number was around 76%. And in FY 25, it strong stand at 70%. That means the customers are there believing in our quality and are satisfied. And moreover, the number is 70% due to addition of new customers each year. Second, we have a very strong focus over the quality of cables. That becomes another distinguisher. We are both facilities are capable to make any kind of specialized cable, whether client wall, fireproof cables, waterproof cables, cables which can survive extreme heat, temperatures, or uh, uh, extreme cold conditions as well. Moreover, both the facilities have the highest ISOs, not just ISO 9000, but ISO 14001, ISO 45000. ISO 17025, and we have all the BIS that comes under the IB segment. So there's six major BIS which are there, and we have all those BIS for both the risks. Then our quality lab is NABL certified. So this again is a very huge distinguisher that in an SME company like us at the scale, this is generally is not there. This feature, this again gives a very good trust to the customer, and we are able to cater to the new customers easily. They approve our products in one go. Moreover, because of 2 to 3 decades of past experience in supply, so we have a strong bid qualification criteria because these tenders for cables are generally open tenders and have certain pre-qualification requirements to that. And we at Pride there are almost 2000 SKUs in cables, and for each cable you need to have a past supply and a performance record that you have made these cables for a particular client, and these cables are working fine at that ecosystem or that infrastructure. So you need to present proofs of these to the government to bid further in the new tenders. So we are strong on that front, and we can easily say that at this point of time we are capable to compete and to qualify in any government tender that comes for cables. Then when we have a very dedicated hounding team and dedicated management team who have years of experience with that. So in any field, whether it's quality, design, purchase, production, the team is there to support with any kind of challenge that comes across. And due to all these things, we can easily say that if we are 100 plus manufacturers of tables, and 40 odd would be similar to us in making these cables and servicing to B2B and B2C clients. The quality, the eligible certification, and the kind of facility we have, and within SME scaling, there would be a handful of companies only. So these are the basic distinguishers.
Thanks. It's very well said. And I think one thing I saw is you guys are present in almost 2022 states. Is that something that is also either a byproduct of your differentiation or itself one of the differentiators for you guys?
It is definitely. So, if you see our presence very diversified in terms of the whole country, and so we are approved as a approved vendor in 14 states as of now. So, in these 14 states, our brand is registered to supply uh, to all the three, boats, generation, transmission, distribution, and we can supply to them any type of LT cables. Adding to it, the remaining 8 to 9 states, we are working on project to project approval basis as well. So we are not generating a single revenue from a single state more than 15%. So we are very diversified in terms of revenue. So last year, for example, we did around 16-17% from Bihar. We did around 10-12% from MP, similar from UP, similar from Karnataka, similar from Rajasthan. So these are the biggest states in India, which are, disrupting the power system and heavily investing the whole distribution ecosystem. And we are very proud that we are approved with them, and we are almost working with every state in India. So apart from that, we are working with the Navratna companies also, which hold the highest level of approvals. And to get approved in in a Navratna company of India, it takes months or years also sometimes, depending on your infrastructure and the quality of, supply to the clients in past. So we are very proud that we are approved with almost the major generation, transmission, distribution of Ratna companies of India as well. So that also distinguishes us from our, competition, that we are present so diversely around the nation.
Moreover, we are proud to say that we are taking to the consumption side of the industry also. Like we supply to all the real estate developers, we supplying to uh, these oil and gas refineries, we supply to factories such as steel, cement, we're supplying to Indian Railways, then and other utilities as well. Moreover, renewables is something which is coming, and we see extensive participation across the power ecosystem by the companies. So, got to say, we are supplying to almost every independent power producer as well, whether it's of solar, it's of wind or nuclear. So we are there across.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Tanmay, do you want to ask a few questions from your side?
Yes. So, what is our revenue split between the government and the private clients?
Right. So last year we did approx 141 crore of top line. And if I further divide into percentage, so around 75% is coming from the government as an end consumer, and around 25% is coming from the private sector. So in a further divide the government revenue, so out of that 75% was around 60% was from the direct tendering and 40% from the EPC players. So these EPC players are the ones who are like awarded contracts on a contractual basis to either construct a substation or a generation plant, or maybe some bay extension lanes. So they are further guided to purchase cables from the approved vendors. So for example, a Navratna company is giving a subcontract to an EPC, then they will be directed to purchase cables from the approved vendors of that Navratna PAC. Similarly, from the state electricity boards also, so there are guidelines to these EPT contractors that uh, whosoever vendors are approved, we have to purchase cables from those vendors only. And roughly around 6 to 7 vendors are approved average basis in every state for cables. And so that is how we're generating the revenue. And if I further make a split in terms of transmission, distribution, and generation, so we are quite equally present in all the three departments. Around 35% is coming from the transmission sector, or 27% is coming from the generation sector, and the remaining is coming from the distribution sector. So we're very diversely present in terms of the industry as well. So that is the revenue slip.
So, how is our receivable days in terms of private player, in terms of PSU companies or state or central government? So, does a trade receivable is as a concern to the company when we work with the government?
CVs are generally 45 days to 60 days in certain cases. So once the deal reaches to the settle, so within 45 days, the government pays us the bills with the bills. And from the past 5 years, we are seeing a good investment by the government, and there has been a huge private participation also in the sector. So there has been not been any issues, whether it's the direct tendering we are doing or whether it's through an EPC. The payments are majorly on time, and moreover, with the government, obviously you can't ask for LCs or PDCs, but with any private EPC or any private client, we don't have a policy to offer the open plan. So the transaction is either backed by the LC or deposited checks. And in this order, a single piece of ballot that has come to bright up, because we are really focused towards what we are supplying, to whom we are supplying, how credible those customers are.
So, our company has witnessed almost doubling in our revenues from FY23 to FY25. So, how confident we are that we can sustain this kind of a solid growth momentum?
So definitely this industry is supporting us a lot. If you talk about the power distribution and the disruption that is going to happen in next 10 years, it is definitely going to be a superpower for India to be one of the biggest electricity generator of the world. Our geography is such that we have the required amount of sunlight, we have required amount of rivers to generate hydropower. Sunlight ke liye we have good sunlight to generate good amounts of solar power, and definitely we have been a very big giant in terms of coal. So all those things add, and if you see the market cap, so right now it is around 1 lakh crores, and by 2030 the prediction is that it will reach around 2 lakh crores, and by 2032 it will reach 3 lakh crores. So that is the level of uh, the growth that this country is going to see in terms of the whole power ecosystem. So, and we have the required amount of approvals We have the required amount of plant and machinery. We have, good relations with the customers who are going to use that electricity. So definitely all those factors, add up to one thing only, that Prime Cable is going to sustain and do good business in the future.
So at the margins front, our margins have expanded from 5.6% to 10.4% in FY25. So any reason behind this steep increase, and are these margins sustainable?
So, juggle or trade and industry margin when you see for any B2B or B2G company. So they're doing a beta of around 11-12%. So this is the minimum amount of margin the company is operating in our sector. And we want to increase those margins and bring those efficiencies. The reason for the steep increase in the EBITDA margins recently is because of the setting up of our kilo facility that has been incorporated last year only in 2024, and we're seeing the fruits for that. So we have tried to set up a plant with the latest technology and the space and the infrastructure that we have created that is giving us the knowledge of scales, and our costs have been on a reducing side year on year. So if it was 86% costs 3 years past, now it has come down to 82%. So and we want to achieve more efficiency going forward, and hopefully the margins will increase from here on.
Any final message you would like to give to our potential investors?
So, message for the investors would be to support us in this growing journey, and will believe that will be adding value to the company to the fullest, and want to take this company to new heights, and we want people to just believe in us and join hands with us.
Thanks. Thank you, Namanji. Thank you, Nikunji, for that wonderful message also at the end. I'm sure the investors will also, they will evaluate the company, and hopefully they will see your success, and more investors will come along your journey as you guys grow, and hope you have a fantastic debut in the stock market. Just to wrap it up, this IPO closes, or it opens on the 22nd, closes on the 24th. You have Nikunji and Namanji from Prime Cables here. Thank you so much for your time. And wishing both of you all the best for this IPO.
Thank you, Rohit and Tanmay.
Thank you for the time. It was the pleasure talking.